Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and a huge welcome to Produce, Mix, Fix, and Conquer. My name is Steve Beck. I'm the founder of our fantastic audio community. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/groups/produce, mix, fix, and conquer, and vice versa. Our YouTube page is youtube.com/produce, mix, fix, and conquer. So we've got a fantastic treat coming up for us very shortly with a good friend of ours, Adi, who is traveling around Morocco, doing some fantastic work, working with some really interesting artists. Now, what's very different about Adi's work is the fact that he sets up in lots of different places, lots of different studios, and lots of different environments as well that can be really challenging. So we're super excited to find out about his journey and what led him to Morocco in the very first place. So without further ado, Adi, hi there, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going, Rich? Thank you for the kind introduction, man.
Oh man, it's an absolute pleasure. So good to have you on finally as well. It's so great as well that what you're doing, man, is incredible. Super excited to find out about your journey today and how it all began, and where you're at with everything now as well. It's so good, man. But yeah, thanks again. It's brilliant.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm always happy and grateful to share this story, our story. What we are doing, why we are doing it, and how we are doing it.
Absolutely, indeed. And as well, just to make our viewers jealous, where are you in Morocco right now? I understand that you're right next to a beach or near the ocean. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm like 10 feet away from the beach, from the ocean, in the city of Sidi Ifni. And that's the city where Led Zeppelin reunited in 1994.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It's an amazing city, wonderful, great vibes, good weather. Everywhere around Morocco, it's like 50 degrees or 45. And here we got London weather. It's the London of Morocco.
Amazing. I was going to say, it's usually a bit colder in Manchester, man. But hey, it's the way it goes. So like with our previous guest, Adi, so let's start at the very beginning and have a good chat about your journey initially. So like with our previous guest, what music did you used to listen to when you were growing up? What music did your parents used to play in the house?
So I grew up with, I'm a metalhead and punk rocker.
Nice.
This is what I grew up. My first favorite band ever I discovered with the age of 5, and this was Rammstein.
Nice.
Yeah. I was fascinated by the song Du riechst so gut. It was in Viva, in the Viva channel, and I was hooked. And then, Sex Pistols, Die Toten Hosen, Iron Maiden, and more Static X, just ripped my head off. Man, I love this. And amazing. My parents, I was born in Poland. I grew up in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Polish music at home. There is an incredible blues band called Jam.
Yep.
Fantastic songs. You can get the feeling even if you don't understand the lyrics. And we had the Pink Floyd live CD at home. We had the Chili Peppers at home. So everything was there. Everything, popular music. We had also pop music running there. But my parents, they weren't like particularly musically involved. Like it's not a musical household where I come from, but they had a good taste. And in general, my family is interested in music. We have some people playing the piano, but not like going to the stage, playing gigs, and just doing it for your whole life. It's more like a hobby.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So thanks so much for that. So tell us about, what instrument did you pick up first as a kid? What got you into playing music?
I changed school in the 5th grade.
Okay.
And made my best friend there on the first day. And on the next day he came. We were like 11 years old or young, I don't know how to say it, but he said, man, we got a punk band, we need a guitar player, you need to play guitar. And he wrote me down like 12 chords.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the heck he wants from me. So I went home, I asked, can I learn to play guitar? And my aunt had like a broken guitar with 5 strings. Like the 6th string always broke when you tuned it.
Yeah.
So, and I got this guitar and I got hooked. Like my friend showed me how to read this chord chart. I learned 12 chords like in a month. And then I was hooked. Apparently I could play my favorite songs from the punk bands, like from Die Toten Hosen. And then I jumped into 2 bands. The school band, where we played cover tracks, and with the other band, we wrote our own tracks and recorded our first LP with 13, I think. Yeah, but you know, man, this is revolutionary.
Oh man, I remember those days. Absolutely. It's like, I was in a punk band as well, so punk rock in the mid 90s got me into playing guitars. I've played guitar now 25 years, but when you learn your first few power chords, and I think for me it was there was a kid at school playing Nirvana, and he played Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I went, I want to play that. Well, whatever that is, I want to do that, man. It's it's so cool. Well, can you remember your first guitar? Can you remember what make it was, or what style it was, or?
It was a Jack and Danny, like
Okay.
the very first guitar, this acoustic guitar that I had. I had no clue what it was.
Sure.
And but the first electric guitar I had was a Jack and Danny, like a Fender guitar.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I just wanted to play, so I didn't know anything about gear or whatever. Like when I bought stuff, I wanted a distortion pedal.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what is a distortion pedal. I just wanted something like Metallica. To do a sound like something like Metallica. And I went to a music store and I bought a wah-wah. I said, man, this is not something like Metallica. What the heck I'm doing with this? So somebody said, like, hey, we can exchange against something else. I'm like, does this make me sound like Metallica? He said, yes. And he tricked me, and it was a delay pedal.
Oh no.
And so the search went on until I found it, and then I got the nice distortion pedal. But this was like gear-wise. I just had whatever I had, like whatever I could get and make noise with. I was happy with it because I was just listening out tracks, playing the whole day. And my neighbor said he was fixing something in his house.
Yeah.
And he thought the drilling machine is still on. But then he listened closer, and it was me playing in the room beneath. So it was all about noise. That's how I grew up with the guitar and playing.
That's amazing. I remember the first time I picked up a guitar as a kid. I think I've told this story a couple of times in interviews, but my dad gave me this 1970s crappy guitar that was his, with a 1960s Jimi Hendrix fuzz face and his stereo. And we put it through stereo. He says, I've not got an amp at the ready, but we'll put it through the stereo. And it sounded absolutely terrible. But it was fun. As you said, it's about creativity, right? And trying things out. And, it's really good fun. So obviously I know that you ended up working later on in life in an office and doing that clerical work, as you said to me before the interview. However, how did you get into recording and mixing? When did all that come about? How did it all happen?
Wow, that's a good question. After a 20-year journey as a musician, playing in bands and doing all kinds of jobs on the side, I discovered, with my girlfriend, we are now 10 years together, we discovered our love for traveling. So we traveled a lot. And we went, for example, for a 1-year journey, sometimes for a half-year journey. And one day we came back. It was a 1-year journey to Armenia, to Georgia, where we saw System of a Down live. This was incredible.
Yeah,
I came back, and as a street musician, we could live from month to month. So I was busking all the time in Berlin, wherever we were, in Serbia, in Bulgaria, Turkey.
Wow, amazing.
But we made money, from month to month to month to month. And when we came back to Poland, we were completely out of cash, and I had to find a job. So I started to do something else. I started to learn IT, jump into IT. Had always a band on the side. And after 4 years, honestly, I burned out. I just had enough. I was learning constantly. I got better and better. I switched my job and position every year, and after a while I just had enough because the connection to music was missing. The connection to meet musicians, talk about the hottest riffs or the best pedals or whatever, something that is, it's like honey for my soul to be around with musicians. I was living even in a rehearsal room. I did music 7 days per week and in 3-4 bands, always music, and this was missing. Like in Krakow, the bands, they didn't moved on forward. We had some gigs, and I thought, how can I reconnect this feeling, and how can I work with musicians on a daily basis, and in the variety, because my taste in music also changed.
Yeah.
Like it opened more. I opened more for cumbia music, for Sinti and Roma music, Indian music, for pop music, for hip hop. I love hip hop and all kinds of music. But here's the thing: when you're in a punk band, you will not play cumbia. Yeah, we were playing Motorhead and whatever.
Yep.
But I couldn't fulfill the other creative side in me. And I thought, as a music producer, let's give it a try. It felt right to come closer back to this community and to do it on a lifetime. And I'm also technical, like I'm an electronical engineer.
Yep.
So I felt that mixing combined my creative and technical side. And I started, to dig in, like, how does the compressor work? How does the equalizer work? You know this, when the passion captures you, not even passion, but curiosity. You don't have to be passion, yeah? You don't have to live in the mountains for 2 years and just do this. But only if you just have curiosity, something that interests you. This captured me again, like some kind of life. A flame got lighted up, and I was just the whole night learning how equalizer work, how different equalizer work, how microphones work, microphone patterns. And I felt, man, this feels right. I should go this direction and listen to this call.
Amazing. That's so incredible, man. So what year was this when this epiphany happened?
It started in 2017.
Okay.
Where I started to educate myself, buying my first mics, and try at home how the different mics are working.
Yeah.
I just bought used mics, used audio interfaces, and so on to see if I really like it, if it's not just an impulse. Like, oh, yes, this interests me now, and then 1 month later, I don't use this stuff.
Yeah.
But instead of using it less, I just used it more and more until I had the full set, how to record bands. And in 2018, I started to record my own band. Then I invited a metal band from Poland. They're called Vignani. We rented one of the noisy rooms, transformed it, and man, this
Brilliant.
was it. I knew what I want to do. Yeah, it was just magic, when the band start, like, I like this mix, or I like this, I like that, and there are so many things that you have to learn from recording chain. You never stop learning, and this is why I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're so right. It's so exciting. We've had some guests on over the last few months, pros like yourself, and but some professionals that have been in the industry for 40, 50, 60 years. Maybe 50 years or 55 years, I would say. So when we're interviewing some of the guests, and they still have this fire and this energy to learn about music and how to record music, how to mix it, how to master it. And it's a wonderful thing. I think it's just great that you've started on this journey in 2017, because it's a lifetime journey, right? It's a journey that it can last for the rest of your life. You can be a guitarist, at the front playing a show, playing a gig, and your band might be around for 5 or 10 years, maybe, who knows? However, as an audio engineer, it can last for a lifetime, surely, doing
Absolutely.
this,
Absolutely, man. You're speaking from my soul. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And there's one short story I would love to share about this decision. I was working in IT security, and I should go up to the next position.
Yeah.
But I was already in the transition to think about becoming a music producer. So I thought maybe I get the next position, I earn more money, I can buy more stuff and move on. But then I was learning about it for the interview on the next day, and I just fall asleep. Like, after mixing a track, then I tried to learn for the interview and so on. And on the next day, look, my managers came. Adi, are you ready for the interview? And I'm checking my screen, like work screen, audio engineering screen, watching an interview with Warren Hewitt and Evil Joe Barassi.
Yeah.
And this was this moment, I'm like checking, like, wow, this interview, really, really good vibes. I'm checking on my colleagues and like swearing and and when I choose something, I orientate on the people that do something for a long time.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, this is a sign. I told the guys, like, guys, instead of the interview, I think I will quit in a half year. and leave this company. I hope this is okay with you. And it was totally fine with them. They're like, okay, cool. Very surprising, you know.
Good employer.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to be honest. You know, I'm not
it's
playing
great.
games. And it was like this key moment just to orientate, like, man, Ivo Joe Baresi is sitting there. He made all my favorite records. One Hewitt is sitting there. They're talking. They had a good time. And I think I want some more of that. You know, this smells like life to me.
It's incredible, man. Absolutely. And I've seen your interview with Warren on Produce Like a Pro as well. And Warren as well, man, is just such a nice guy and such a great interviewer himself. And his discography is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love the Fray that he's worked on. And I think you're part of his academy as well, aren't you? And then you've done a course with Warren. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We became really good friends. Love this guy.
Fantastic.
And I became part on the Pro Mix Academy with 17 tutorials, and on Produce Like a Pro Academy for members, there was one exclusive course on how to mix desert blues music.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. It's so cool. Thanks so much for that, Addy. As well, so tell us about the why you decided to move to Morocco then, and tell us about some of the artists that you started to work with when you first moved over to Morocco.
All right, the move to Morocco, it was 2 journeys. So the first was in 2018, when we made a pilot with our mobile recording studio. I got 1 month off at my job.
Yeah.
And I asked my girlfriend, where do you like to go? And she said, Morocco. Okay, Morocco it is. I packed like 8 microphones, the cheapest of the cheapest, 1 audio interface, and had a backpack full with this, some mic stands, cables, running through the city in Morocco, asking people if they want a record.
Wow.
And it worked. We recorded like an incredible, like a 12-piece orchestra or ensemble from Israel. There was like a local festival with Andalusian music, is middle-aged music, for like Arabic middle-aged music, you can say. It's so incredible, so complex, so fascinating. And we recorded 1 track with them. It was like my first major artist, I would say. I mean, they have like 5 million views in Israel, and just play worldwide, the biggest theaters and shows. And I was pretty excited, man. Yeah, like,
that's great.
Let's see how this works out. And it worked out good. Like the video went out to 350,000 people. I could never imagine this in my life.
No.
And I learned a lot about mixing. So this was the first journey. We just could stay 10 days and went back to Poland. And then we thought about how to make it full-time.
Yep.
And usually we were traveling in a teeny tiny car, like in a Renault Twingo, and sleeping in the front of the car. And we said, this have to change. I'm now 30, man. This was my gift for birthday, to change my life and make a mobile recording journey. And we saved money for a camping car.
Yeah.
So we upgraded a little bit with the equipment. I got the Focusrite 18920, so I have like 16 inputs together with the PreSonus. Got some more like cheaper mics that are working, that are useful. For sure, SM57s with me. Yep. And we thought, man, there's so much to discover in Morocco. We had such a good time there. Let's go there and do this journey again. So this was in July 2019 when we started to move. Like, we moved to Berlin. There we recorded with some bands, some rock and roll bands. In Poland, we record always bands on our journey.
Yeah.
The idea is to record as many music videos as possible and show that we are all the same with the music that people represent, that music is the universal language that connects us.
Absolutely.
And we made it to Morocco, to the festival, and then came the lockdown. The thing happened, and this is why we are now since 1.5 years here almost. And and I mean, I'm not complaining at all. I love it here. I wanted to stay longer. And they just extended our visa like this because of the thing. Yep. And so we did the best we can to appreciate this opportunity that we could still travel here, because we just had the lockdown for 3 months, like a hard lockdown. And then we could move again. And we wanted to give something back to the people. Yeah. Discover more of the culture. And we did just so many music videos. A new one will come out tomorrow, like a full live show. with Dara Tribes that we recorded in the middle of the desert in a pine farm. And this will be epic, man.
Really, yeah, completely, man. That's unreal. You know, and how many engineers get to do what you do as well? It's completely different, you know, completely unique. It's exciting. It's encouraging for others to maybe follow suit one day as well and try it themselves and travel around and, you know, have a mobile recording studio. And I think what really fascinates me, is I'm sure it does you, is the fact that technology has given us this gift to be able to record people wherever in the world. And the fact that you don't need a crazy amount of outboard gear necessarily, you know, outboard gear is wonderful, but you don't necessarily need that. But like you said, if you've got a good interface and you've got enough mic pre's and you've got a good laptop and microphones, you're set. You're all good to go. That's just crazy, man.
Absolutely. It's such a blessing, man, to with minimum equipment. And I tell you one thing, I don't even have mic pre's.
Yeah.
I'm just going directly into the interface. I just got the mics, interface, laptop.
Yeah.
And the aim is also to motivate people to do this. Maybe find a band locally, especially when you are new in recording, because that's the best way to learn. Take a young band, invite them, produce one single with them, do it for free, or like a minimum amount that can cover some costs, just to have a good time together. And try it out on your own, because what you learn, what the biggest lesson that you will learn is mic placement. This is, you can learn it in tutorials and so on, but if you don't do it on your own, it will be hard to redo it, because every room is different and every place is different, everything is different. So this is invaluable.
Absolutely. And to tell us as well, thank you so much for that, Adi. So tell us about some of the challenges that you've faced as well when you've recorded some of the artists when you're traveling around.
Some of the challenges, we try to transform any house into a record studio.
Yeah.
Get the best out of this. Like recording wise, technically, one challenge was a big hallly room. Like we recorded really in the last city of the desert, where the desert started.
Yeah.
In a traditional house with our brothers from Isuran and Sahara. And it was a big concrete room. This was crazy. The djembe player, like, we are recording live. This is the first thing, we're recording live. We are not having a click there, because it would kill the vibe of the traditional music or the music that they are playing.
Sure.
Because when you're at the campfire, you're not playing with a click. And so I try to get the best sound in this live situation. And you have difference with different instruments with different loudness, volume. Like a djembe can be massively loud. And there's something like a calabash, like a half pumpkin with a lot of bass that goes down. It just goes down, you know, in the recording. So this was one of the places that got very tricky, where I needed almost 2.5 hours with the setup to get the good sound out of everything. Like sometimes the djembe player, Ayub, he was so crazy, you could hear anything, just the djembe in every single mic. So we tried to put the amps in other rooms, other places, but I don't have enough headphones for everybody. So, you know, then I had to place the musicians that it still looks good for the video and so on. This was pretty challenging, but it worked out at the end. Other things that we did was, for example, recording in the middle of the desert. Like we slept in the desert, 40 kilometers away from the first city. And I just had 2 SM57 with me and a mobile Tascam recorder. It was super windy, and there was a women group, I think 10 women from Spain. And they said, we would love to make one song with you. So, okay, how to make it? It was super windy. We had 2 mic stands, all kinds of stuff. So I took my turban, and it's called sash, is like, you know, what you put on your head. That the wind And I put it over the mics so they don't catch the wind like a windshield. And you just had sand everywhere, in the cables, in the Tascam, in the mics. Everything was full with sand. And later it was pretty challenging in the mixing phase. Where I had to work with psychoacoustics by cutting all the low end, but still make you feel that there is low end. So I had to
Right.
balance somehow the highs, cut the low end, and people think it sounds like a normal recording. I'm like, whew, I think 300 hertz are missing. Everything below this is just cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's incredible, man. It's absolutely insane. And thanks again for that, Eddie. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so tell us as well about some of the... Actually, let's maybe do some of the video clips that you've got. So I know there's a video clip of one of the projects that you've worked on that we've got good to go. Did you want to show some pictures and show some videos with some of the work that you've done?
Absolutely. If you like, we can. I can share some other stories. We had some good stories last time. Recording with Tarwa and Tiniri. They hired me to record their live show. And wait, I get some videos here. This was crazy because all the live shows during the pandemic, they were inside a studio or a room. So they wanted to change something and said, we go into this big desert palace in Ouarzazate. And Ouarzazate is the city where they make movies like Star Wars was made there, James Bond, Gladiator, and all kinds of movies are made there.
Nice. Amazing.
So we went to this big palace and wanted to record outside in a tent. Like they put this nomad tent there. We set up all the stuff. There came a professional video guy, with like 2 big cameras, and I put all the microphones. Salam alaikum. The night guard came.
Excellent.
With I put my 16 mics there, like every input was used. We wanted to start punctually at 8. When we started at 8, the watering system started to turn on. Man, and all the equipment got wet, all the stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I just hope nobody gets electric shock, because I'm here with the electronical stuff, and man, this was crazy. we managed to turn it off after like 10 minutes, just to save the cables. Everybody was holding some cables up there, but it's always an adventure. Always something is happening. Sometimes we have sessions that go until 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and then you just have dinner. Man, this is incredible stuff going on in the journey. We had here one video with the Queen of the Desert.
Shall we just add it to the stream?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Is that the one?
Yeah, I think it's running.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're traveling with musicians at the same time. So here we were traveling with Lala Tamar. And she's an incredible vocalist from Israel with Moroccan roots. And we managed to record with the Queen of the Desert, Nat Aishata. This is the lady on the right.
Amazing.
And she invited us to her place in Gulmim. Man, she was singing for the King of Morocco. And Tamar and her, with the band, they wrote the song on the same day, 1 hour before recording. In this trippy tent. This tent was on the roof in the middle of the city. So we're actually in the middle of the city here. In the third place, and you see some interesting instruments. I don't know if you can hear it. Wait, maybe I stop talking for a while.
I can hear it.
I show you her voice. It's incredible. This is where the blues come from.
I can hear it. It's beautiful.
Man, I still have goosebumps when I just think about it. And
it's great.
Yeah, this was an unforgettable experience. And after this, we could record with Mehdi Nassouli. He's one of the best musicians in Morocco. Like
Yeah.
he's touring all his life, playing 180 to 200 shows. I think I have to turn on the light here. I'm sitting outside.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
I think it's getting dark.
If anyone's just tuned in, Addy is literally right next to the ocean outside, which is a new one for PMFC. So,
yeah, that's the only thing I don't have. We have the camping car, but we are 2 people there, and a way to travel together in a tiny place is also to give space for each other.
Yeah.
And with my girlfriend, everything is communication. It's just wonderful, and I love to sit outside. She's having her meetings there, also some live streams. So all cool.
Fantastic. Brilliant. So what does your girlfriend do as well? Does she in music as well as she, or is she a different thing altogether?
She learned the ukulele now, and in general she loves music, but she's an artist, a painter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And, fantastic.
It's fantastic. She learned so much about graphic design and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. No, thanks so much for that, Addy. So tell us about some of the, obviously this is very new to a lot of us. Tell us maybe some about the traditional Moroccan instruments that get used when you're recording. So I know that for a lot of us, when we're recording rock bands with guitar, bass, drums, the usual, which is amazing in itself, but tell us about some of the traditional instruments that you've recorded as well, and some of the fun that you've had with them.
Absolutely. Wait, I will find you something here.
Great. Do it.
There is one instrument, it's called the rebab.
Yep.
It was very special, and this is the Moroccan violin.
Ah, nice.
The Moroccan violin is like a 1-string instrument.
Yeah.
And we did many recordings with Salah Fafa. Here I got something. I will just share it here.
Sure.
We got the video files.
Fantastic.
I learned so much about the instruments. I will. So the most common is the rebab, and then it's the gambri. It's like a Moroccan bass guitar, played in Gnawa music. And this is a crazy instrument. I absolutely love it. I'm just finding this one here so you can see the rebab.
Yeah, sure. Go for it, man. Brilliant.
Our brother Salah Fafa.
Excellent. Here we go.
You got it?
Let's add it to the stream. Yeah.
Let's try again. Okay, this was just a warm-up for the latest record session we had.
Okay.
These files will be actually accessible because we recorded it for a Lurid special together with Produce Like a Pro, so you will be able to mix those instruments for your own. I hope pretty soon. Let's see when we get out. So this is the Moroccan violin, the rebab. You see, it's 1 string, and Salah is just holding it. It's like a capo. His finger is acting like the capo. And then he played the notes with the rest of his hand. And this is just the epic sound when you mix it with delay. I absolutely love it.
Really? Oh, cool.
You can use it for electronic music, for example.
Yeah.
And we used it for our latest single that we released together. And now I searched something for the gambri. The gambri is this Moroccan bass guitar. I think I have a funny video here. I play some punk rock on it. This was after the session with Minat Aishata. I don't know if they know about this, but let's see.
Brilliant.
Go. Bear with me, people. I have 3 terabytes of video material here.
Oh wow, amazing! So what camera are you using when you do you obviously record this as you film at the same time? Is that how you tend to do all these projects?
Yeah, most of the time the music videos that we create, they are created live.
Okay.
We have a basic camera. My girlfriend is taking care of the camera, and it's was it the Canon GX5, something like this, like a $500 camera.
So something very memorable. Yeah.
Something like this, and But now we switched to iPhones. Like the iPhones are perfect for filming. We bought a couple of used iPhones, and now we have different angles.
Okay.
And it's way easier to combine the movies because I'm making the video editing later. And you know, the camera had like 25 frames or 50 frames.
Yeah.
And the iPhone have 29.97 frames.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Who is doing this? Who is doing this to us? And and now we record with 2 iPhones. Soon it will be 3.
Yeah.
We got some used ones in Poland, so really happy about this.
Oh, wow.
I share my Gambri skills with you.
Right, here we go. Fantastic. Let's have a look. Let's add that to the stream. Here we go.
Where punk rock come from Morocco.
This where
instrument.
Can you hear this?
Yep.
You need some fun after this record sessions. It was like 50 degrees in this tent.
Yeah.
And man. And what you got here's the sound hole, a movable bridge. Yeah. You got three strings.
No way.
And
nice.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing, man. That's so cool. It's just, I bet it's really refreshing as well, just to try out all these different instruments and go, what's that? I want to try that and give that a go and record that. And, you know.
Man, we were traveling with artists from Chile. Just when we came to Morocco, we met this guy and he had a backpack full with instruments. So we said, man, we should travel together. So we were 3 people in this camping car for a month. And we found the instrument builder. And we got crazy with all the flutes they had. They're taking like the horns from the goats and stick them on a piece of wood.
Right.
And we tried those instruments. There are so many incredible percussion instruments like the darbuka, ascender. It's a super loud instrument that reminds me of Brazilian samba music. Of course, the djembe is the typical instrument that you probably know also in Western music. In the Western culture. Then you have a darbuka. It have way more attack and a way higher timbre, and it's not the natural skin that's on it. And sometimes it's a metallic pipe, you know. So we have a metallic body. On the other hand, we found rhythm instruments close to the djembe. It sounded like a tabla. It was made with fish skin.
Really?
Yes,
and
clay. It was a very special sound. And man, to just discover all those instruments is very unique.
Yeah,
it's
completely.
A very good experience.
Not something I suppose you get in the recording studio in Poland, to be fair. I don't think anyone would be bringing in something like that, maybe. I don't know, but wow, that's crazy. That's so cool as well that you get to try out all these different things as well. So when you get that, thanks so much for that, Addy. So tell us what DAW are you using as well when you do your recording? What DAW do you enjoy using?
I use Reaper all the time because it's very lightweight. So I have a basic Mac with 16 gigabyte RAM. And when I record 16 inputs, it's the fastest DAW for me to set it up. And there is no latency and it works very, very good for me. I mean, I learned Pro Tools, I learned Logic, I got Logic here. I started with Cubase actually.
Oh, no, interesting.
Yeah, and then I just jumped into Reaper. I thought, man, this is nice.
Reaper's great. You know what? So I love Nuendo and I've got Pro Tools as well. But again, it's like for mastering work, I do use Pro Tools for mastering work and Wavelab from time to time. But Reaper, there's just something so refreshing about it. The fact that you can, I'm sure you do this as well, you can change all the skins on there. The fact that it's free for 60 days. I think it's something like 60, I don't know what it is in dollars or euros, but it's like £60 as well forever, when it's so super cheap. So I always say this, it's like, if I have any friends that are maybe, I don't know if you're the same, and when you have students approach you and say, oh, you know, what do you use to record on or mix on? And when you say to them Reaper and they go, oh, how much is it? £60. They go, what? Really? Are you sure? It's like, yeah, absolutely. And I've heard many professionals like yourself use it. I think, I can't remember who it is, but there's a really well-known mastering engineer, and he does his edits for all the mastering work. And I think he does the beginning of his mastering work on Reaper to start off with, and then moves it into Wavelab afterwards. So I think a lot of engineers, I think initially people there going, oh, it's just flash in the pan and it's cheap or whatever, but it's just as powerful, I've found, as Pro Tools and a lot of the other DAWs out there as well. And it really low on the CPU as well, though, isn't it? I found. Don't know about you if you found that.
Absolutely, it's so low in the CPU. This is why I use it.
Yeah,
and it's nice that you're saying it. I think every DAW you can achieve what you want to achieve, and the most important is that you feel comfortable with it, not what name it is and so on. And that's the most important. When you have fun, when you have a good time, when this makes your life easier, go for it. Of course, when you go to commercial facilities, to studios, you need to know Pro Tools, because this is the standard. You have to know how it works.
You're right.
How it's laid out. And I offer, for example, to my clients, to make their life easier, to just send me the session file. And I export all the tracks, you know, I consolidate them, that they are in the same length. Just yesterday, I had again, with a band I work with currently, Sun Followers, and they sent me some new trumpets from the trumpet player. So maybe he's not so technically, but it's okay because he's the musician. And he sent me like an audio puzzle, you know. I call it an audio puzzle always when I get like 8 tracks that are in different lengths. And then I said, man, just send me the session and I export it. It's way easier. And he sent it in Logic. It's good to have a knowledge in every DAW.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, as you rightly said as well, the fact that then that opens you up as a studio to more clients. And if your clients send, like you said, you know, a session in Logic, you can then bounce those files out, and then you can work in Reaper and then bounce those files out again and put it back into, or whatever, however you want to do it. You know, it's like, and it gives you more flexibility. And I think that's so important what you said about Pro Tools, the fact that it is very much here to stay, that you know, that it is what pretty much every commercial studio out there uses, as well as I've noticed a lot of commercial studios are using Nuendo as well, which is the reason why I've kind of walk between both Pro Tools and Nuendo quite often, which kind of leads me to the conversation as well about, I don't know if you've read on forums, I'm sure you have done, about Dolby Atmos, and what would fascinate me actually is, like, if you recorded some of the music that you do with some of the traditional stuff and use Dolby Atmos with that as well, which would be absolutely incredible. But what are your thoughts on Dolby Atmos and spatial audio? And I know it's a big topic that everyone's talking about at the minute. Have you got any initial thoughts on it?
Yeah, I love it. That's it. I think everything that goes forward, every innovation needs to be discovered. And I learned about it actually from Justin Cortillo. I hope I said his name right.
Oh, yeah, Justin's great. We've interviewed Justin. He's a great guy, lovely guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just wrote with him, could ask him some questions, and he was super kind. Yeah. Because I'm a big Deep Purple fan, so he worked with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then I just asked him, like, what are you doing? He said, I do something in Dolby Atmos. I'm like, Justin, what the heck is this? And he introduced me to Dolby Atmos and took the time to explain it. And then I found it online. Yeah, super cool.
It's crazy.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's cool. Every possibility, everything that a smart guy is coming up with, like, you can make audio go behind you and on the side from you, and I'm fascinated with this, man.
It's crazy. I think it's it is in Nuendo. I know that you can buy, I think it's Waves that they do a headset. You've probably seen it, the Tracker headset, so you can move your head around.
Yeah, I got this one.
You've got it already. I'm going to discover it. I'm actually thinking about buying this very shortly. So I love my Odyssey headphones, my LCDXs that I use all the time for quality control and referencing and that sort of stuff. But I'm really excited to explore what it's like with the Waves. What's it called? The thing that connects on top of your head with the Waves? Head tracker.
Head tracker, yeah.
Yeah. How are you finding it?
I think it's a nice gimmick. I'm using Abbey Road Studio 3.
Okay.
Because I can't use the speakers when I'm mixing in the camping car. My girlfriend would go crazy, or everybody around me would go crazy, you know. And so I use Abbey Road Studio 3 as my reference to see where things are spaced in my mixes. And then I use this head tracker, but after a while I thought, man, sometimes it's not working, and it's strange to have a USB device on my head all the time. You know, I don't know what will be the what will happen in the future to this part of my brain. You know, so I'm a little bit concerned with this, or I'm just, you know, it wasn't that useful for me. Like, it's a nice gimmick,
Sure.
and I appreciate it that it's invented, and I was super excited, and I used it for the first year. Like when I got better in mixing, you know, then I loved like just moving my head there. And this, I have to say, in the software, it's so good. But you can move the space also with the mouse. So when I just want to move around in the virtual studio, I just use the mouse and move around. And like this, I can really focus, like the sound is there, and this is all I need.
That's really interesting. So I'm sure some people have probably looked at Waves. I think, thanks, Chris. I think Chris has just commented on the comments as well. Really appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, the fact that's really interesting what you just said. The fact that you can actually use your mouse instead of the headset, using Waves 10X. So what is it? What app are you? What plugin? Sorry, are you using when you're using the mouse with Dolby? Is there any particular plugin that you're using when you do Atmos?
No, I didn't do Atmos yet. I didn't do it.
Okay.
It's on my list. Like, I don't have practical experience with Dolby Atmos.
Okay.
I got some Dolby Surround tools that I also didn't use yet, because it's, you know, there is so much work and
so much to learn. Absolutely.
Either so much to learn, so much to do. A lot from marketing, from promoting, also from recording, from video editing, from you know it on your own. Many people know it. And from client work and client conversations, emails, whatever. So Dolby Atmos didn't make it on my priority list yet.
No.
now in my priority list, I just bought Serum, the synthesizer, and Synthesis is big on my list at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Well, absolutely in love with it, just to dive in deeper. It's so much fun, man.
Fantastic. That's absolutely great. So talking about soft synths and also maybe effects, plugins, I'm guessing, so you've told us about the what you record on with your interface. What plugins do you like using at the moment? Is there any particular plugins that you're enjoying when you're working with your clients all over Morocco?
When I work with the clients all over Morocco, I think one of the most helpful tools was Trash 2.
Oh, wow.
And
right. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
a lot of parallel distortion that I use on traditional instruments. Because my ears are pretty tuned to rock music, to loud mixes. And my mixing approach for traditional music. Hey, Chris. Hey, Sheila, Robert, Bob Studios, New York. Now I see the comments. Sorry.
Oh, I see the comments. Great. Amazing.
Yeah. And I love to use Trash 2, for example, on the djembe. And Drajan, man.
Amazing. Hi, guys.
To bring the djembe forward, for example, to make it loud. And I imagine, for example, which of these traditional instruments is replacing traditional instruments in rock music and rock mixes. Like, sometimes I have, when I work with Dara Tribes, we had so many record sessions now. Incredible band from the desert blues band, and so lovely people.
Brilliant.
We recorded the cajon and the djembe. This is what they have. So I treated the cajon more in the 60 hertz region to have something like a kick to drive the track, and put the djembe on top of it, but mainly that the cajon and the bass is playing with each other and drive the rhythm. Like things like this. And to bring it forward and to make it loud, I use parallel distortion with Trash 2. And what I use all the time in my mixes is the Brainworks SSL E4000 plugin.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And man, from delays, I switched now to Valhalla. It's the best. I love this plugin. I just put it in and it goes great.
Yeah.
I got all I need with this one.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and when we record guitars, I often like to take the DI signal, or sometimes because I get hired to record guitar tracks also for clients
Mhm.
worldwide. So I couldn't take my Marshall in my car,
Oh,
unfortunately.
sure.
Yeah, so I could was a good opportunity to dive into virtual amps,
Yeah.
and I'm hooked with neural DSP stuff, man. This is so good.
Oh, really? I need to check that out. I've not given that a go. I when I'm doing just for fun, so my main gig is mastering. It's like mastering is what I do, mastering audio. But if I'm working on a fun project or just with friends or whatever, I really enjoy. I think it's STL Tone Hub. You've probably seen
Mhm.
that one as well. So that's got some really good
Oh
stuff
yeah.
on there. So I really regret getting rid of. I used to have a camper and then I sold it, and I really
Ooh.
regretted it. I know exactly. So I'm really tempted to buy one again. But then I looked at STL Tone Hub, and a couple of people on Produce Mix Fix and Conquer said, "Oh, go with STL Tone Hub and check it out and stuff." So we did, and yeah, it's great, man. It's fantastic thing. But again, technology, man, it's just crazy. The fact that, as you said, you don't need your Marshall cab and your Marshall head, and you
Yeah.
can literally just go to a guitarist. Oh yeah, just give me your lead. Let's plug in. There you go. Put headphones on. What amp would you like? Would you like a Messer? Would you like a Marshall?
Yeah.
What would you like? It's
But
crazy.
this is crazy. But there I have one thought to share, man.
Yeah.
I still love, even when I would use the VST, it's
Mhm.
important to put the signal to a real amp. For example, the bass player, he need to something that shakes his butt, man, to
Yeah.
feel the track. And the same as a guitar player. My Marshall, when this thing is turned on, I
Yeah.
can feel the clean channel.
Yeah.
It's
You're right.
something more
Yeah.
than there's some more power coming out,
Yeah.
it gives me more this live feeling. But sound wise, they are top. The VST plugins, they are top, man. I'm so happy that smart engineers took their time and really made so good reproductions. Really blessed with this, because this allows musicians, even more musicians, to just get started. Because
Yeah.
some people can't just turn on the Marshall in an apartment, or they do it
No,
once, and we know what happens.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I think thanks so much for that, Eddie. What I found interesting as well. So one of my friends, client as well, but I helped produce his project that he was doing recently in my good friend Chris's studio. Beautiful studio, like Neve Genesis desk, lovely ATC speakers, wonderful. And then we were trying to find this really, really good bass tone for him. And then literally, Chris gave Luke this 1980s bass. So we tried like a Fender, I think it was I don't know, Fender Jazz bass or something along those lines. And anyway, and then we just tried this 80s bass with this like active pickup. And that active pickup just gave that bass like punch and power. And it sounded great. And I think you're absolutely right in the fact that if you've got a really good sounding bass, like using a proper amp, if you're mixing, then it helps, doesn't it? It really does help.
It helps. It helps with the feeling, because this is also something that needs to be captured and adds to the sound. And this is really I think the art of recording is to capture this vibe.
Yeah.
Capture the feeling. This is
Absolutely.
what I try to achieve all the time, man.
That's absolutely incredible. So cool. Thanks so much for that, Addy. Really appreciate that, man. So before you go, what's next on your journey? So I know that you weren't quite expecting to be in Morocco this long, but what's next for you? What projects have you got coming up next, and who are you working with at the minute? What clients are you working with?
Well, currently I got a lot of clients from. I had so interesting phone calls. What I have planned commercially is I organized a castle in Greece and offered to turn this into a record studio for LP production.
Wow.
I got the desk now and all kinds of stuff. So this is something I want to do. But I got booked by a client to record in Albania, one of my favorite countries. I spent like 6 months there in the past to record the 5-track LP there. So now, look, when I can't give 100% plans, yeah, my life is like when I have clients, I can plan, I can make you this record in this time.
Yeah.
But where I travel or where we will be tomorrow, I don't have a clue. Like I know now we have to leave and go to Portugal because the situation got better and the ferries opened and we don't have a visa since 1.5 years. So we just pay a fee and leave the country, go to visit our families, spend some time with our families.
Amazing.
Pick up some gear from our kind sponsors, Kali Audio, Yamaha guitars, sent me a guitar, man. This was so amazing. Warren helped us a lot with this.
Brilliant.
And get some stuff there. And we have something incredible planned in Armenia together with Kali Audio. And because my next vision is to record more, to merge art and music, and to record bands in museums, like ethnic museums or abstract museums. This is, I think everybody needs something or have something where he can relax, like from the audio. When I want to relax or get new inspiration, I go to a museum with abstract art or contemporary art or whatever. So I want to merge these parts now. So let's see what happens.
Incredible, Adi. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right, though. It's as producers, songwriters, engineers, having something to look at. Art inspires audio, doesn't it? At the end of the day, as well, and having something visual to look at and enjoy and get inspiration from as well. That's amazing, and I'm so excited just to maybe we'll have a chat in a year's time, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in India or I'm in Greece or wherever you are, man." It's just so exciting to and refreshing to find out as well about what you're doing and the journey that you're on as well. And it's awesome, man. It's so cool. Thanks, man. Tell us your website address. People have been asking on the comments that have been sent through.
Absolutely. So we have now 70 plus music videos
on
our YouTube channel that we created with local artists as part of our artist support. And our YouTube channel is Hit the Road Music Studio.
Yep.
And there you can find also mixing tutorials, some tips, and all kinds of stuff.
Brilliant.
Music videos, tutorials. Then most of the time I'm using Instagram now. This is how I communicate with artists and with people and get to know more engineers, more people, more musicians, building my songwriting team at the moment. And there you get the latest updates, where we are, what we are doing. Our webpage is hit, and this is a crappy address.
That's cool, man. Go for it.
Hit -the-road-music.com.
Okay.
There you get reference mixes and other things that we are doing, vlog posts, and can learn more about what we are doing. And of course on Facebook, you can add me as a friend. If you have any questions, this is what I offer people, because we're doing this journey at first to connect with the universal tone of music. And I want to inspire or motivate engineers to get going with whatever you have. And if you have any questions, so many people helped me in my whole life. I will have time for you. Maybe I don't write directly back, but I will come back to your questions, definitely. So don't be shy and let's talk.
That's so good, man. And so I just love your energy, Adi, as well, and your journey that you're on, man. So thank you so much for that. So I'm sure as well, so everyone that's joined, I'm sure Adi would be more than happy, like you said, if you sent him through any questions or any direct messages, or add him as a friend on Facebook, follow him on Instagram with Hit the Road Music Studio as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Feel free to join our community. So if you're watching from YouTube, which is facebook.com/groups/produce mix, fix, and conquer. And again, if you're on Facebook, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/produce mix, fix, and conquer. But Adi, in Morocco, thank you so much, man. Have a safe journey to Portugal as well. I hope all goes well for you and your girlfriend as well. But yeah, exciting times, man. Keep us posted on your journey and what you're up to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your work also on the community. I think you built a very positive, beautiful, and enriching audio engineering community. And
thanks, man.
I'm proud to be part on this. Man, thank you for everything. Lovely greetings to your wife. All the best with your studio, with your new studio.
Thank you.
And we are in touch, man. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
So good. Well, feel free to hang out just for a moment, Addy, after we leave. So again, thanks again for that, Addy. And so for your kind words. And we'll see you all again soon. Take care. Thanks for joining, gang.
Adios, amigos.